Golden Towers. In Tower Defense Simulator, these are some of the most sought out for towers in the game, right next to the hardcore towers. But are they really worth the hype? And more importantly, are they worth the grind? Well, this video should help you decide if you should or should not spend endless hours of your life grinding away for mildly better stats in a Roblox game. So let's start with the starter tower of the game, the Scout. A few years ago, the Golden Scout was probably the best early game tower in the game, rivaled only by the Gladiator. But now,
things has changed around here.
Not only has TDS as a whole gotten a lot harder, but also multiple alternative towers have now been added, such as the Brawler, the Cowboy, the Krugmas, or hell, even something as simple as the Shotgunner are all able to replace the Golden Scout, and in the Brawler's case, outshine it. The Golden Scout is still a solid early to mid game defender, and is still good at holding the line while you farm and get the higher DPS late game towers. Golden Scout loses on wave 22 of Fallen mode due to not having flying detection, but with supports he's just barely able to make it past wave 35. Overall, the Golden Scout is still pretty good, but it's just not nearly as effective as it once was. It's still a good early game tower, but probably isn't worth the grind considering that there are now far more alternatives. Next up, Soldier. I'm honestly unsure of what to think about this tower. Unlike Scout, on most maps you can't just plop 3 of them down and start farming, because the Soldier, while having much higher DPS, is way more expensive, making him way less spammable. And also the fact that his gun fires in bursts instead of constantly firing like every other tower in the game is really bad, and also makes it so Commander cannot buff him. Having flying detection is really nice, but I would say that it's honestly not enough for me. The Golden Soldier just isn't strong enough compared to his other golden friends. So the Golden Soldier is much worse than the Scout in my opinion, and probably the worst golden tower. Next on the list we have Pyro. Now Pyro is probably the most controversial golden tower, having been by far the worst one in the past. But how is he in the modern day? Well, if you use him as I have used the Golden Scout and Soldier, pretty bad, as you always lose on wave 15, but the modern Golden Pyro isn't meant to be used as your early game defense for too long. He's more of a support tower, being able to lower enemies' defenses and having amazing crowd control. While your main DPS towers are dealing with the higher health enemies, the Golden Pyro is more of a cleanup crew, lowering enemies' defenses and getting rid of the small fries, while your main DPS is dealing with the more chunky boys. So the Golden Pyro is really good at this specific job, but it's not really the fire power you would expect from a tower worth $40. Alright, Cowboy time. The Golden Cowboy is probably a contender for the best golden tower. He can be spammed and does pretty good, but his real strength comes from the fact that if you have the Golden Cowboy, you don't need to use a slot for the farm, as the Cowboy will earn you money on its own. On top of performing just as good as the Golden Scout, the Golden Cowboy will also generate you insane amounts of cash. He still loses in wave 22 because but in a regular Fallen playthrough where you're using all the towers you can is where the Golden Cowboy truly shines, taking care of the early waves single-handedly and making you cash to get the higher end towers. Definitely the best golden tower I have talked about so far. Alright, the Minigunner is in. Essentially the only golden tower made for late game, and it's the best non-hardcore DPS tower in the game. Okay, well, technically the turret has a higher DPS, but it has a placement limit of 3, so it doesn't really matter. Also, people keep telling me the Gatling gun is really good. I don't have it, so I'm not sure. So the Golden Mini is the best non-hardcore DPS tower in the game, maybe. Unlike the turret, it doesn't have a placement limit. Why? You wanna know what the funny part is? Well, the Golden Minigunner's placement limit is 12, the regular minigunner doesn't have a placement limit, meaning that the regular minigunner actually has a very big advantage compared to the golden minigunner, which should not be the case. Still, the golden mini is definitely better because there aren't a lot of maps where you can fit in 36 minigunners. So the golden minigunner still managed to get a win in my book, but there really should not be a placement limit. Oh, and also, come on guys, is it really that hard just to point your guns upwards? Alright, now it's time for what I think is the best golden tower in TDS. The Golden Crook Boss. It's good in the early, mid, and late game, and especially shines in the early to mid. Its guards do a lot of the heavy lifting though, as if you're on a map where they can all pile up, their DPS can easily surpass even the Crook Boss himself. And when you have all of the Crook Bosses down, you get a ton of these goons. So that's a big bonus for the Crook Boss. And yeah, it also has a placement limit, but this one is understandable, since if the game just let you put down 20 of them, the entire map would be filled with goons. Though the Crook Boss does tend to struggle in the late game, it will still be a valuable tower throughout the entire game. And it is for this reason I consider it the best golden tower. So now that I have talked about all the golden towers, one question remains. Should you grind for them? Well, here's how I see it. The golden tower that is worth the grind is the Golden Crook Boss. The towers that are kind of worth the grind are the Golden Minigunner, the Golden Pyro, and the Golden Cowboy. And the towers that are not worth the grind are the Golden Scout and the Golden Soldier. Oh yeah, you could also spend actual money to unlock them, but yeah, I don't really recommend doing that. Grinding coins has gotten a lot easier over the years, so it's really not as much of a pain as it once was. So that's all I got to say. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. See ya!